Man, what an honor and a pleasure to be back on the Troycast. We have a special guest today. This young man I met a couple of months ago. I've seen him, and no, I'm not a stalker or anything like that, but I've seen him for a while now, actually, at the Fresno State football games. He's a phenomenal young man. I've had the pleasure to getting to know a little bit more about him with this program we're doing at Fresno State, and it's a mentorship program. So the Troy Center, as you all know, we do mentorship, and, it goes beyond just like an 18-year-old. So a lot of people say youth and just think 18-year-old, but no, we go all the way up to the age of 25. So we have with us today the man, the myth, the legend himself, Tyrone Terrell. How you doing, sir?
I'm pretty good. Glad to be here.
Glad to have you, man. Glad to have you.
Thank you.
So I said that I met you maybe a couple of months ago, but I actually saw you at Fresno State. Can you give us a little background on what it is that you do at Fresno State and a little bit where you came from to be at Fresno State?
Okay, so I'm originally from Los Angeles, California. Grew up there all my life until 2021. I decided to go to Fresno State.
Okay.
While I was in high school, I decided I wanted to get into coaching football. Just from like role models, my dad, my uncles, seeing how they are leaders and kind of like developed other kids as well as their own, like me, kind of made me want to do the same thing. So when I went to Fresno State, I decided I wanted to get into coaching, and I started working with the coaching staff. I started off in recruiting, kept it small and short and simple, and then just as the years go on, because now I'm a senior, now I'm working closely with the staff, more in tune with the coaching aspect. I'm breaking down film, grading practice, grading games, things like that, and doing cut-ups for opponents. So roles increasing, and now that I'm about to graduate, see what the future holds for me. So,
Wow. That was a lot. And that's what I mean by impressive, right? I want to go back just a little bit. You said you were originally from Los Angeles, California. What part of LA are you from?
So I'm from Watts, California.
Watts.
Yeah.
Man, before you came to Fresno, because I'm not originally from Fresno either, right? Before you came to Fresno, did you have any expectation on what Fresno would be and how it would look or anything like that?
So I'll be honest. When I first thought of Fresno, I just thought about dirt roads and country.
Okay.
But when I got here, it was still a little bit of dirt roads and country, but not as much as I thought it was going to be.
Right.
It's more of a city, and it's more modern than people say. And I feel like a lot of people talk down on Fresno, but I kind of like Fresno.
Right.
And, although I'll be honest, I probably don't want to move back to Los Angeles, but I wouldn't mind calling Fresno home forever if possible.
Okay. I heard that. Fresno is home for me, and similar. I had no clue what to expect when I got to Fresno, and Fresno has become my home now. So I love Fresno. So shout out to Fresno and Fresno State for sure. Coming from Watts, though, man, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Do you still have, like, friends that you keep in contact with out in central Los Angeles or whatnot?
Yeah, definitely do. I still talk to some of my friends from high school, middle school. Oddly enough, I went to, I'd say, like 8 or 9 different schools growing up.
Oh, wow.
But like for middle school and high school, I went to the same school for 3 years of middle school and 4 years of high school.
Gotcha.
And I still switched around a lot. Mostly private, but as far as friendships go, I kept them. I still talk to my friends here and there, not as much as I used to, just because like we're all on different walks of life now. Yeah. But I still talk to them here and there, and I'll be honest, when I'm on the video game, I still play with my friends from back home. So
okay, so the video game keeps you all kind of like tied in and dialed in and whatnot. What video game y'all playing?
I'll be honest, EA College Football. I play it as much as it makes me angry sometimes. I continue to go back and play it every single time.
Right.
Or sometimes just sitting in the party talking with my friends, and we're not even playing the game, we're just talking.
Gotcha.
That's usually how it goes. We just check in with each other.
All right, and if I'm being honest, as you would say, I'm not ducking you, but we still got to get on them sticks and play, like for real. But that's for another day. I know. I'm not ducking you. I'm trying to get better. I'm gonna keep it 100 like with you. I'm trying to get better because I don't really have time to play games, so I'm just trying to get better with it. But we definitely will play one day for sure.
Right. I'll hold you to it.
Okay. It's on camera now, so we got to make it happen.
Okay.
So coming from Watts, you came to Fresno. You're at Fresno State. So do you mind like asking or me asking how old you are?
So I'm 21.
21 years old.
03.
Wow. 03. You were born in 2003.
Yeah.
Man, that's amazing. And I'm saying that because to see what I've seen these last couple of months when we've met with each other, like I said, you blow me away with some of the things that you think about, the way that you look at life, coming from the adversity and Watts that you have faced that we've talked about off camera, things like that, and to see what you're doing now and being at Fresno State and doing the things you're doing is only commendable. And speaking of that, at Fresno State, like I said, I saw you with the football team. What is your exact role right now as it stands with the football team? Like, what is your title?
So I would say a do-it-all guy. Technically, I'm an offensive student assistant.
Okay.
Right now, so I do signals for the offense. Like I kind of like relay the play from the sideline to the players, just because we don't huddle as much,
right?
Especially not in college. You don't have enough time, and it's more of a fast-paced than NFL. Also, I work specifically with the running backs, so whether it's grading practice, watching film on opponents, things like that. Self-scouting as well. We watch our own film on ourselves and try and find ways to get better. So that's the main thing I'm doing now. Next year, it'll probably be a little bit more, which is a good thing. I feel like the more I do, the more experience I get, and the more it'll help me later on when I move on somewhere else or hopefully stay here. But it's just never ending.
No, I can only imagine. Definitely that coaching thing at the higher you go with the football and the coaching, the more that's expected of you from that actual, especially from a coaching standpoint, it's like no days off. So with that being said, as you move up the ranks and do what you're doing with the coaching, is that something that you dream to do in regards to like be a head coach one day? And is it any specific level, like high school, college, or the pros? Is that something that you dream and aspire to be?
So NFL is a dream for sure. As far as being a head coach, I'm not sure if I want to do that yet.
Okay.
I'd probably keep it down to a position level. I do want to say I want to coach college though. For sure. High school, not as much. Eventually, yes, but for now, I would say strictly college, just because I feel like at the college level, when you have those kind of players, they want to play football.
Yeah.
And it's more of like the bigger developmental phase for them, as far as like them moving on into adulthood.
Right.
Because in college, it's no more staying with your parents for the most part, or getting your hand held as far as everything you do. So I really enjoy that, and being at Fresno, seeing the way that happens and the way our coaches approach the players, it kind of like entices me more to want to do that.
Okay. I love it. And I think football is the ultimate team sport, 100%. Right? Ultimate team sport. 11 players out there for one common goal. And, man, I just, once again, knowing a little bit about, your story and what you're doing, it's just mind-boggling to me, right? To see that you're 21 years old, but coming out of high school, from what you told me, and maybe you could share with the people, how did you approach this whole coaching thing? Because you came to Fresno State, from what I understand, to coach. Is that right? Can you speak to that?
Yeah, so my senior year of high school was COVID, so we didn't even have football at all. But that spring, so like January and I'll say like the December and November of the year before, I was reaching out to different colleges about working with their football team because I knew I wanted to get into coaching.
Right.
I'd say my second high school football coach made me want to like actually immerse myself into wanting to get into coaching. Just seeing the way he approached us and the way he treated us and the way he cared about us, kind of like influenced me and made me want to be able to do the same. I would also say it's my dad. he coached Pop Warner while I was growing up, and he's always been there for me and always been that motivator, and also for my friends as well.
Mm-hmm.
So seeing the way he approached kids, it's not even his own, also played a factor in it too for me. I feel like I feel like you can touch people in all different kinds of ways, but that's the way I want to touch them.
Right. Okay. That's dope. I mean, once again, the choice in a truly reviving our youth. This is what we do. We work with youth. And you just gave a commendable story, as I keep saying, on your personal journey. This isn't something that you read about. This isn't something that you've seen on YouTube or anything like that. This is your story. As a senior in high school, you saw what you wanted to do, and you went after it.
Yeah.
Right. So we're trying to, get our kids out of their 3-block radius to see different things. Not only did you get out of your 3-block radius, you got out of your entire city and even just a whole different section of California to see something different, to chase after your goals and your dreams. Right. And that's what we're trying to let our young men and our young women know out there, that it's never too soon to start. Right. So most people think, I'm just going to be honest. When I was younger, I never thought about coaching. I always wanted to play, right? And so it wasn't until football was done for me and a lot of my friends that we started thinking about coaching. So if we can think about these things sooner rather than later, we'll be well more prepared to, for what's coming, if you will. So to know that you were a senior in high school and you knew what you wanted to do and you went after it, and now 4 years in?
Yeah.
4 years in, and you're doing it, right? Like I said, when I saw you, when we met each other in the classroom at Fresno State, I was like, man, that's crazy. This is the young man that I'm actually working with, because I saw you at the Fresno State games working with, during the pre-games, doing the kickoffs and things like that, running backs and all that good stuff. And then now here we are doing this mentorship program.
Yeah.
And for those of you all who do not know, when it comes to mentoring, it's a two-way street, right? So a lot of people think that the mentor will just give advice and information and guidance to the mentee. Well, it's a two-way street. So I've learned a lot just sitting down talking to you.
Yeah.
And you've helped me just look at certain things from a different lens, right? And so I just wanted to make sure we were able to point into that. But moving forward, man, so this is your senior year at Fresno State. Next year you'll be, I'm not sure. Would you be, if you stay with Fresno State or wherever you go next, would you be considered a graduate assistant, or how does that work?
So I'm looking into being a graduate assistant. So a graduate assistant will technically be a student who's getting his master's paid for by the university, and also working with the coaching staff or coaching, for example. And I'm looking into doing that.
Right.
I'll be honest, I feel like I need another year of guidance before I fully get into that.
Right.
So I'm looking to stay another year before I start looking for graduate assistant positions. But I know at different college levels, depending on where you go, sometimes you don't have to be a graduate assistant.
Okay.
You can just be an assistant or quality control, and it's a lot of other names. And with the landscape of college football changing right now, who knows what it's going to be tomorrow. So. Right.
Man, so I'm sitting here and I'm just thinking off the cuff right now, you're talking about just different things when it comes to football, the game of football. People see the quarterback, the receivers, running backs, linebackers, things of that nature. But when it comes to coaching, right, when you get to a higher level like college, there's different types of coaches. So it's not just a head coach or the assistant coach, but there are position coaches, special team coaches, things of that nature. Can you speak to that in regards to just the hierarchy and how it goes within a team at the college level?
Yeah, so every school has a head coach, obviously. Right. And then after that, it breaks down to the coordinators. You got offense, defense. And then as it continues to break down more, I'll start off with these roles. You have quality control. So this is the scouting of opponents, all those breakdowns and things like that. And you have an offensive one and a defensive one. And then when you break it down a little bit more, then you have your position coach. So there's a D-line coach, a linebackers coach, a corners coach, safeties coach.
Right.
Sometimes even a nickels coach, depending on what kind of Defense, your school runs.
Yep.
And then offensively, you'll have running backs, quarterbacks, offensive line, wide receivers. And then you have your graduate assistants. Depending on the university, you can have more than one, but some schools have one, some schools have two, and that's two per side of the ball. So you can have a wide receivers GA, an offensive line GA, defensive line GA, defensive back GA. But GAs usually coach the position group that has the most players. So the wide receiver coach probably needs more help because he usually has like maybe 10 to 15 wide receivers. Same with 10 to 15 offensive linemen, 10 to 15 defensive linemen, 10 to 15 DBs. So those position groups get the extra help, which is a GA.
Got it.
And then depending on the university, you always have student help, which is similar to, well, it is what I am.
Okay.
And then you also have different departments. So you have support staff. You have your director of football operations. You have your recruiting. You got on-campus recruiting, off-campus recruiting, scouting, personnel, things of that nature. It definitely gets bigger when it gets to college. And I would also say people probably don't look at it that way. But, well, I'll say now, like, I look at football and I think it's kind of crazy how popular it is. And how much money is put into it and how much money you can get out of it. And how much goes into it because some people just come on Saturdays and see the game, but people are at work.
100%.
Sunday through Sunday, 5 a.m. to who knows when, preparing for that game on Saturday. So I feel like that's why games hit a little bit more. I know fans aren't happy all the time. And, I mean, same with players because we do put a lot into it. And I feel like you have to want to put your all into this profession. And even as a player, because if you don't, you're essentially just wasting time.
Wow. Man, I love that. I love how you broke down the whole, you know, the different nuances that go on behind the scene. Like you said, people just show up on Saturdays for college and Sundays for NFL. They don't see what's going on throughout the week. So I appreciate that, man. I have one last question for you. And Ashley likes to ask this question, so I'm just going to carry on a tradition here. If you could tell a younger Terrell anything, right? Coach Terrell is what they call you, right? If you could, okay.
Well, I'll be honest. I got this from Coach Tedford. My nickname is Tiny.
Okay.
Yeah. Long story, but I feel like if you're over the age of 50, that's my nickname.
Okay. So well, I'm not there yet.
That's
not yet.
What everybody calls me.
Okay.
Anyway, though.
Okay. Well, if you could tell a younger Tiny something that you know now that you didn't know then growing up in Watts, what would that be?
I say keep going. I would say that anything you want, as long as you strive to achieve it, it'll happen.
Okay.
And even if you don't achieve it, as long as you're moving forward, it's okay. More of a don't give up aspect, I'd say.
I love it.
I feel like if you just don't let outside factors affect your decisions and make sure that you always put your best foot forward and that you do the best for yourself because nobody's going to take care of you like you take care of yourself. So
can't say it better. No one's going to take care of you like you take care of yourself. Man, I appreciate your time, man, for real. And for those of you all out there, if you're not following us, please click the description below. Check us out, troycenter.org for our website. All social medias, at the Troy Center. Man, it was a pleasure talking to you, and we'll definitely see you soon.
Pleasure's mine.
Peace.